So Kawhi Leonard basically gives Russell Westbrook the ultimate, compliment, the ultimate message, and gave sent a Hall of Fame message basically towards Russell Westbrook after the incredible game one that the Clippers found themselves winning over a nuclear Suns team that a lot of people think that's really unbeatable or thought that was unbeatable, at least up until that point. And, I feel like the message that was delivered and the compliment that was delivered to Russell Westbrook from Kawhi Leonard should definitely help fire him up and keep him even more motivated than what he already is going forward in this series. Now, as of right now, when you look at this series, it's definitely going to be a tough one. A lot of people think it's going to go 7 games. I still think it's going to go 7 games. I still think that regardless of, how each game plays out, it's just a tough, drawn-out series because the Clippers are going to have to basically, do everything right and not commit many mistakes. And, Russell Westbrook is going to commit mistakes. You just got to hope that the mistakes that he commit is not the worst because it might put you in position to more so to lose than to win. Now, the compliment or the message that Kawhi Leonard sent towards Russell Westbrook was the fact, after the first game that they played, he said Russ is a Hall of Fame point guard. He's going to the Hall of Fame for that, and I expect him to do good. I expect him to play well, and I expect him to play great, just like everybody else on the team has an expectation of Russell Westbrook to do great as well. Now, of course, we know him shooting 3 of 19 is not ideal. Him shooting a poor percentage in this series is not going to be ideal at all because they need all his scoring to be at all-time high as much as they can, and they need his efficiency to be at an all-time high as much as possible simply because they don't have Paul George. They don't have that second guy who can go out there and drop 23 points every night on a consistent basis and put pressure on the defense of the opposing team, which will allow you or better your chances of beating them in a 7-game series, just as the one that they're in against the Phoenix Suns. Now, of course, KD is a monster, and you got Kevin, Devin Booker and all these other guys. So hopefully, Russ, if he's not fired up to really, improve his offense, he should definitely at least be fired up more defensively because defensive plays we know that he made in game one were crucial. They needed them to win, and without them, I don't know if they would have lost if they didn't get those plays, but it's more likely a possible chance that they would have lost without some of his offensive rebounds, the big play on Devin Booker, and just the defensive effort, from him. I think it kind of trickles down to the other players along with their best player Kawhi Leonard, who definitely has the defensive prowess in his game as well. So, if Russ can continue to keep playing well on the defensive end, I know Kawhi is going to do his thing as much as he can, at least against Kevin Durant. You can't stop Kevin Durant. You just got to kind of, slow him down a little bit and hope that, he, doesn't go off for like 50 points or something like that. But you can never stop a great player. They really only stop themselves. I've always said that. I've never really shied away from that comment because I always believe that to be true. You never could stop a great player. They just have moments where they stop themselves or you can alter some of the things they do, but in the long run, a great player is going to be a great player, right? So, if they can just kind of alter some of what Kevin Durant does, make it tough for him, show him continuous switches on different bodies, different double teams, they'll be fine. But I definitely think Russell Westbrook is going to be key in this series almost just as much as Kawhi Leonard, basically. Maybe not as much, but kind of somewhat close, because even though Kawhi is going to have good games, he's still going to need that second guy to make plays. And, Russ in the first game, he made plays, He made plays, and he made plays defensively more than he did offensively. But I don't know if Russ is going to shoot 3 for 19 going forward in this series continuously, time after time. I don't believe he's going to do that, or at least I hope he doesn't. So if he shoots a little bit of better percentage and can give them, about 15 points, 10 to 15 points, I'd say, about 7 to 9 assists and, get about, I'd say average about 7 to 8 rebounds. maybe 1 or 2 steals, I mean, that definitely will help the Clippers out a lot, especially with all the other depth that the Clippers have as a unit, because Norman Powell, Rocco, if they decide to play him, I mean, the Clippers can go 10 deep easily, basically what I'm saying, because they got so much, depth on both ends, of the floor, scoring, defense. And then, like I said, their number one player, which is Kawhi, his defense is really good. And nobody really talks about the defense that, he puts out. I mean, just because it's not like how it used to be, or he doesn't play defense to the level that he used to. It's not that he can't. He just sacrificed some of that for his offense, which is okay, because, you got to be able to play defense when it's time, but you also have to be able to score when it's time as well. And I think Kawhi Leonard does a great job of trying to balance that. And I feel like he balances it very well, because like even instances where he plays KD, he can't stop KD, but he can alter some of what KD does, make KD take tougher shots, wear on KD throughout the game, make his legs a little bit more tired. And then, that bodes well for Kawhi. And then, of course, he's going to get some steals and things like that. But that's exactly what Russ is going to have to do. Russ is going to have to be just as good defensively going forward in this series as he was, in the first game, and his intensity is going to have to wear off on other players along with, Kawhi Leonard. And I definitely believe it will, because Kawhi is one of the type players where his defense is just infectious. And I feel like it's rubbing off on Russell Westbrook some, even though nobody really secretly wants to say it. But, going into the next game, the next after that, the Clippers got to really just focus on the defensive end, And once they do that, I definitely think their chances of winning increases. And, I hope Russell Westbrook takes the compliment that Kawhi Leonard gave him and utilize it to his advantage and be the best version of himself he can be, because that's exactly what the Clippers are going to need if they plan on trying to win this series, if they plan on moving forward. And of course, if they plan on winning a championship, they definitely going to need the defense from Russell Westbrook and his point guard play, because like I said, he will turn the ball over at times, but he also will, wow you with some plays, and he'll also definitely, play at a high level when needed. Now, of course, in the midst of that, of course, like I said, you're going to see some boneheaded plays by Russ, some turnovers, stupid mistakes, things like that. But I mean, for the most part, like I said, you're going to get, every bit of just 100% all in gameplay, playing hard, push to the highest level. Russ is going to give you that. He never cheats you any game. He never cheats you any minute he's on the floor. And that's the reason why we respect Russ so much. And a lot of us look at him in such a high regard. And I feel like we should, because we don't have a lot of players who play every night with that type of intensity and just hungry and desirable. So, a lot of players, they don't have it in them, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that we're seeing Russ play like this right now and kind of just, fitting with the Clippers a lot more than he did with the Lakers is just, good for a lot of Russ fans out there. Because, I mean, me personally, I didn't want to see Russ go out the way he did or the way he was going, with the Lakers. So now that he's with the Clippers and he's playing more motivated. And see, this is what they're going to need in this series. This is what they're going to need continuously if they plan on going further in the playoffs. And the only thing I say about Russ, he's going to have to try to find a way to get his scoring up a little bit more and be a little bit more efficient if he can. Because if he can do that, sky's the limit for this team. They might not even really need PG if Russ can give you about 15 to 17 points on average with decent, not great shooting, but decent shooting. And on top of that, he can give you the intensity that he gives you on the other end and playing hard and just, going at teams and being physical. I mean, that's all they'll need with the depth they have and the greatness of Kawhi Leonard. They can actually get through this series if they do it that way. But like I said, we'll have to see how it pans out. But so far, I like the mentality of the Clippers, and, the series is going to sway back and forth. But either way, like I said, I still like their chances in this series.